To mark evidence, from the trainer dashboard, click into the task list. This can be accessed by using the icon on the top right of the screen or from the task list on the left. Clicking into the task list from the left gives you the list of tasks showing what the assessment is and who it was submitted by. If you're going to mark this task, click directly into it. If, however, it's been submitted to you by mistake and should have gone to a different trainer, click Reassign Task and then choose the name of the training officer that you'd like to reassign that work to. In this example, we're just going to click into the task so that we can mark it ourselves. The task overview opens, and this presents us the information that we saw when we released the training plan to the candidate. Scrolling down the screen, we can see that the SOPs that have been pre-mapped to this assessment are shown here. If, after we've read the evidence, we don't think some of these SOPs have been hit, it's important for the tracking features of OneFile that we come back and uncheck the SOPs that we don't think have been mapped. For now though, we'll leave them ticked. Scrolling down to the evidence section, this candidate imported a Word document directly into their evidence submission box, and that gives us as trainers the most flexibility when it comes to marking this work. What I can do is I can now highlight the text, click the Annotate button, and type a feedback comment directly over the top of the work. Once I've finished typing the comment, click Apply, and that annotation is now saved. If I wish to update it, just clicking the annotated text, I can update, delete, or just cancel out. I can apply as many annotations as I want to this. Once I've finished annotating the text, scrolling further down, I can see the justification that the candidate provided for this piece of evidence. At this point, I have to put some overall feedback into the system, otherwise I'm not able to save the work that I have done. Obviously, the feedback that you provide to the candidate here will differ depending on whether you're going to accept this submission as complete or whether you're going to send it back to the candidate because there is some work missing or it's not yet to the required standard. For the purposes of this video, we will start with a submission that is not at the required standard and so requires resubmission, and then we'll finally accept it. Once I've finished typing the feedback, scrolling to the bottom of the screen, I can see that I'm being presented with the normal signature bar. If the work is not to the required standard, leave the box unticked and click the Resubmit button. Clicking the Resubmit button will send this work back to the candidate and put it back on their task list as work that needs to be addressed. When a candidate resubmits an assessment, you'll be notified in your normal email alerts and a task will appear in your task list. Click into the task list and you'll see that the assessment that needs marking again is here. Note that there's nothing to tell you that this is a resubmission. Click into the task and you'll see that again you're presented with the task overview and the criteria that are pre-mapped to this assessment. The criteria here should reflect the ones that you had ticked and unticked in the previous submission. You'll then see that the evidence box is here. At the moment, what you're looking at is the latest submission presented by this candidate. If you want to do a historical side-by-side comparison of the new version versus an older version of the assessment, up here on the right-hand side of the screen, you'll see that there are 3 different options. The annotator option will allow you to go straight in and annotate over the top as previously. The history option will show you the historical views of the assessment, so you can scroll through from the original submission. It tells you at the top the version control, that it's the version that came in by the candidate. The second version is the feedback that you provided historically. And if you want to compare both the most recent submission with historical versions, the both option gives you a side-by-side comparison of the different submissions. On the left is the latest submission by the candidate, and on the right are previous submissions. If you've had 2 or 3 resubmissions, you can scroll through the different submissions here so that you can look at the different versions and the version control. The other thing is, using these buttons in the middle, you can lock the 2 submissions next to each other so that the scroll is synchronized. As you scroll through one, it will scroll you through the other. Here, the candidate has put some additional material in red. It was the candidate's choice to change this text colour to red, so you might need to have a discussion to agree a local procedure for how modified work will be presented to you. Is the candidate using a different colour? Are they going to just put the updates at the bottom of the document? The evidence attachment box is still available. Any previous comments and feedback provided is still available. And as before, you must provide feedback here. As always, tick in the box to confirm that these criteria are now met, and then click Save and Quit. The candidate's progress tracker will have been incremented to show that they have successfully met some of the SOPs required. You can see this as the trainer by going to your trainer homepage, looking at your candidate, and noticing that the progress bar has incremented. The candidate will be able to see this in their progress dashboard clock.